Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, February the 7th, 2023. Tuesday, February 7th. A pretty interesting episode. I mean, predictable in some points because I smell a twist coming. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's see, first thing I want to talk about, we've got Felicia talking with Anna and Valentine on the plan that they're going to plan and rousing out a confession. And Valentine's like, look, no matter how bereft my father is, he's never going to admit to nothing. And Felicia's like, well, he's not the target. Which was smart, right? Because Laura set a plan in motion. She um, has the deputy mayor meet her at Kelly's, and she asked her. Laura's all like a little frazzled, just a little bereaved. And she goes, well, she says, I need to know, can you take over the contracts for the city workers meeting tomorrow? And she's like, what's wrong, Laura? Well, of course, but what's wrong? I went to Dr. Westmore's Westmore's memorial service, and I found out a dear friend died. She says, "Oh no, who?" Anna Devane and my granddaughter Charlotte's father. Charlotte is so distraught, and she's like, "Wait, what? Huh?" And she's like, "I'm sorry to hear that." And she's thinking, oh no, right?" And so she goes, she stands up, and Laura says, she goes, we should go over the contract. She goes, we can go over them in the morning. I'm suddenly not feeling well. And Laura says, well, okay, if you're up to it. So she leaves. Now, mind you, Jordan and Taggart are having dinner. There's the rehearsal dinner for Portia, and Curtis is going on now. And they were like, no, we're not coming. And rightfully so. They don't need to be at the rehearsal dinner. Because see, traditionally the rehearsal dinner, you're supposed to rehearse the wedding. It's really for the wedding party, yes, and close family, but when we're talking about exes aren't usually invited to a rehearsal dinner, right? So Laura comes over to them, and Laura says she wanted to inform them that, oh no, she didn't tell them any of that. That's right. Laura's like, she's keeping that out of it because they're lying about Valentine and Anna. So she's not saying nothing. She goes, I saw you had a meeting with the deputy mayor, and she looked like she left in quite a hurry. She goes, oh, yes, yes. She suddenly felt ill. So she goes, well, I hope she feels better. Laura says, oh, I think things are going to get a lot worse for her before they get better. And when the deputy mayor left, Laura takes out her phone and tests mission accomplished. And then she says, oh, you two aren't going to the rehearsal dinner? And Jordan's like, no, we're sitting this one out. And Laura's like, oh, okay, yeah. It's a shame that Curtis's Aunt Stella suddenly fell ill. So she can't officiate the wedding tomorrow. And Anna was like, I mean, not Anna. Horse Jordan was like, oh no. In her mind, she's thinking, okay, Stella, I see what's happening. Right? So Laura says, I'm heading over there now. And then we have Jordan, she didn't spill the beans to Taggart, but she says she just wants to protect Curtis. And she says, when I leave here, I'm gonna check in on Aunt Stella to make sure she's okay. And Taggart was like, it's good that you're still close to the family. And she says, yeah, pretty much. Just because Curtis and I got divorced doesn't mean there still aren't feelings for extended family like she and Stella. So that went pretty well. And then we have Spencer. Spencer is at GH, and he goes into the chapel, and Victor's just sitting there. And he goes, Uncle. And he goes, what are you doing? He goes, well, I tried to get here to lend my support to Obret, but it's over. I guess I'm late. And he goes, oh, from one parent to another, I know exactly what she feels like. And Spencer's sitting down, well, what are you talking about? And he goes, to lose your only child. And Spencer looks at him and he's like, well, what are you talking about? And he says, Valentine is dead. And Spencer was like, oh no. Even though, Spencer may hate Valentine, used to hate him, he still knows that's his uncle's son. So he was like, oh no, Uncle Victor. He goes, yeah, this will be a lesson to you, Spencer. Don't let your feelings for a woman, an outsider, outweigh your commitment and your feelings for your family. And Spencer's looking like, whoa, what? So Victor stands up and Spencer says, well, okay, Uncle. And he's talking and he goes, I just wanted to let you know, because he was talking about bringing the family all together. And Spencer says, well, you know what? I'm pretty much doing that. I'm glad you said that, because I'm pretty much doing that. And he's like, well, what do you mean? He goes, oh, I'm taking custody of Father and Esme's baby. And Victor looks at him. He goes, wait, you what? He goes, oh yeah, I take to heart what you mean about family. And my father has no business raising that baby. And Victor looks at him and he goes, well done, Spencer. Well played. See? Oh my goodness. He goes, because that will get Valentine in line. And Spencer's like, I mean, not Valentine. That'll get Nicholas in line. And Spencer's like, you're misunderstanding. I'm not trying, I don't have an end game with getting father in line with anything. I'm trying to protect my brother or sister, my sibling. And Victor's like, say what you want. Look, this is a classic Cassadine move. You're doing this out of revenge. He goes, but I'm behind you 100% because this is going to work. This is going to serve what I'm trying to do. He says, I knew you were the one for me to invest my time in. You are more Cassadine than your father. And he was just like salivating at it. And Spencer's kind of looking at it. He's playing it real cool and close to the vest, but he's feeling Victor out, like thinking, Uncle, for one thing, you ain't going to own me, Uncle, right? And if I'm taking my sibling from my father because he's not going to be a fit parent, I'm darn sure not going to let you corrupt them into some corrupt version of something, right? So Spencer's just looking at him like, you know what? I may have overplayed my hand in telling this old man, because this old man is way too into what I'm getting ready to do and is getting ready to take that to the 9th level, right? So Spencer kind of just walked out thinking, okay, all right. So now we have the rehearsal party. Curtis flew in Portia's brother and father. The mother's sick, and they arranged. Curtis paid for a caregiver to take care of her mother, or maybe just arranged, whatever. But bottom line, my whole thing is this: I could see the father, play, and I don't know if I could see paying him to come, because this is a prominent doctor. You mean you can't afford your own plane tickets? What, huh? You can't afford a caregiver to come in and take care of your wife? So Curtis went way above and beyond, and I'm thinking your daddy should have, as a matter of fact, he's supposed to be paying for the wedding. Well, traditionally, but that's a very old tradition. Who goes by that tradition? My daughter got married in 2016, and I split the bill with her groom's mother and father. Down the middle. And the beautiful thing about that relationship is her husband, my son-in-law's got a phenomenal mother and father. We all get together. We have dinner. We got movie night together. Get along with them very well, which is rare. But almost, I better not be paying $10 more on something that's more in the budget because it had to be split in half, right? So it was more like a competition. If I'm spending a little extra because I want to bring in this or these little parting gifts for the guests, oh no, they had to go out and spend some. That was so funny, but it was a great wedding for my daughter. But now back on topic. So anyway, he seems pretty nice. Porsche, the brother gives her a gift that the mother sent, some real family heirloom. Because trust me, I don't think what she was trying to bribe Stella with was a family heirloom. But this meant something to her when she saw it, right? So who tells her Stella can't? Curtis does. But after he goes out, Brad shows up. Selena gives him an envelope full of cash, right, as a wedding gift, and Curtis takes it and puts it in his pocket like, yeah. See, and not even just so much a wedding gift. Curtis, I think, gets a part of the take of the game, just a small part, of the poker games too. But anyway, whatever. So Brad leaves because Curtis invited him to stay. He's like, but no. He goes, oh no, because he's still mourning Britt. So he leaves. Elizabeth showed up. And I took this picture because she actually looked good. When she was walking in, Drew ran into her because she was going to go in, but then she was going to kind of like change her mind. And Drew was talking to her. And I said, well, go ahead, Elizabeth. Rick curled up your hair, makeup on. She cleaned up nice. Haven't seen her look this good in months, right? Go ahead, Elizabeth. I had to take that picture. So now Curtis goes in and he actually tells Jordan. No, while he's out there, after he got the money from Brad, Laura walked up. I almost thought she saw that exchange, but she didn't. And she tells Curtis that his Aunt Stella called her, because she wasn't feeling well and asked her to officiate. Curtis knew she wasn't feeling well. She called Curtis, but he didn't know that, they were going to have to figure out who could marry him. Well, Laura says, I'd be proud, right? So they go in and Laura says hi to Portia and everything. And then Curtis tells Portia, or Laura may say, I'm honored to officiate the wedding tomorrow. And Portia's kind of looking like, what? And Curtis says, yeah, and Stella fell sick. No, Laura didn't tell her. Curtis was about to tell her. He goes, you know what? There's something I need to tell you. And then he goes, but you know what? We got all these guests. I'll tell you later. She said, Curtis, if this has something to do with our wedding day tomorrow, you need to tell me. So he tells her, Aunt Stella fell sick. She feels so bad. She's not going to be able to officiate our wedding. And Portia's like, oh no. And Curtis walks away. Then that's when his bartender girl comes up and says there's a man outside, and that was Brad. And then that whole exchange and everything happened. So Portia, when Curtis walks away, Portia calls Stella and it goes, Stella's like, Stella was looking at her cell phone and she saw the name Portia and she went, voicemail. Keeping the truth from my nephew. Ain't talking to you. So anyway, she leaves a voice message. We all miss you, Aunt Stella. We miss you. Okay, just checking on you. So when she hangs up, she's thinking, something ain't right. Something ain't right. She's thinking Stella was awfully standoffish at the boutique, and Stella and Jordan had their heads together. See, Portia's like, oh no. Oh no, what could we? And I'm thinking, yep, squirm a little bit, girl, squirm. Wonder, what does Stella know? What does she know? And then her father says a few words to her, and then Curtis was dancing with Trina on the dance floor. And then the father says something real quick and says, hey, but ooh. She goes, I love that granddaughter. So he's, whoa. And he goes over because Trina's dancing with Curtis and, got her shoes off and just boogieing her and Curtis. And Spencer shows up, and he's at the top, with the entrance where you're at the top before you come down the stairs. And he just looking at Trina. And I thought, look at the way he's looking at her. He looked at her so adoringly, right? And he's watching her dance with Curtis and everything. And he decides, you know what? I'm not going to interrupt this family thing. Because plus he knew her mother wouldn't want him there. But he would want to support Trina. But he sees, no, they having such a good time. Plus his grandmother's there. And I know he really didn't want to get back into her trying to lecture him again. So Spencer leaves, right? But that was really nice. And while Trina was talking to Marshall, the Epiphany backstory has started to come out. Epiphany indeed passed her MCATs. Yay, I'm glad they made it happen that way. And she is checking out different medical schools across the country to see which medical school she wants to go to. So they're going to probably have Epiphany off in medical school in a whole nother state of her choosing. And I'm sure she'll get word back to maybe Marshall, and Marshall will tell everybody else, what she's doing, or however they're going to have it done. But she's going to be off in medical school. So this way, years to come, if they decide to recast her and bring her back in 5 or 6 years, good. I mean, I would welcome seeing the character Epiphany come back. But after a number of years, let's, let things settle down with Sonia's passing. So anyway, that was pretty good. I'm happy they finally made a little blurb on that. So now, of course, we have Nicholas. Ava's thinking he's not breathing. Ava's in a panic. He's not waking up. Austin's knocking at the door, banging at the door, right? So he goes, no, I need to speak to you. She goes, I'm on a business call, because she shut the doors to the living room. And he goes, no, this is important. I'll wait. And she goes, well, then go up to the sitting room. It's down the hall, up the stairs on the right. And he goes, okay. So she goes in. And then next thing we know, we see her dragging, we see legs being dragged. And then the next thing we see is her leaning him up in a wall, saying, I'm sorry, Nicholas, I didn't mean to do this. I was just trying to stop you to talk to you. And she closed the door, and it almost sounds like they're in the horse stable, right? She closes the door and padlocks it. And when she turns around, Austin is standing right there. And she goes, I can explain. And he goes, what are you doing? And she tells him, I was just trying to stop him. He was going to go take my daughter. So I guess, what's Avery supposed to have been there upstairs, maybe? I didn't know Avery was there, but I guess she must have been, because he was going to go take her. Oh, you know what? I'd have killed him too. See, that changes the whole game. You think you're going to walk out, go up to my daughter's room and take her? Oh, no. The Jerome is coming out in here. Matter of fact, Ava got a gun in her purse. She should have pulled her gun, right? Hopefully Avery was with Sonny, but then that still would have been, okay, yeah, go over there and get her from her daddy. How are you going to do that? Anyway, so she's explaining, it was an accident, but please, just if you have to tell the cops, just give me a few hours, give me some time. I need to get Avery, and I need to leave town so Victor can't find me, because if Victor finds out, or when Victor finds out Nicholas is dead, he's going to kill me. No one will believe that I did not mean to kill him, right? Nobody's going to believe that. Well, people will believe it if you say he came over in a fit of rage and tried to strangle you and mess up the living room some more, and maybe Austin, put some marks on your neck, maybe punch you in the eye, Ava, right? That people will believe Nicholas attacked you, right? My whole thing is this: chick, you're not a nurse or a doctor. Let the doctor examine Nicholas, because the way General Hospital writes everything, Nicholas is not dead. Didn't they think Peter August was dead? And that was a nurse and a doctor there. Well, this doctor should have at least really verified that this man is dead. Unlock that padlock, let him in, let him see. He might be able to do some CPR or something. Come on now. If you don't want him dead, let's let a doctor look at him, see if he can revive him. So, because he wasn't bleeding by the head, right? So Austin tells her, I'm not going to call the cops. Yeah, I believe you. I believe you didn't try to kill him. I'm going to help you. I'm thinking, you going to help her? And she's like, well, why would you do that? He goes, you know what? I know we don't know each other that well, but I believe you did not mean to kill him. And I certainly don't want you killed by Victor Cassadine, whoever he is, you know? So he goes, I'm going to help you. So she's in shock and they're both looking at each other. Now, what I'm saying, Austin was following who over to Cassadine Island? Mason. So if Austin saw Ava dragging that body in the stables and followed her right in, who else do you think saw that? Mason knows. Matter of fact, it might be Mason soon as Austin, without checking the body, soon as Austin goes back up to the main house with Ava to discuss what they're going to do and how he's going to take the saw out of his pocket and saw Nicholas up, cut up all his little body parts, throw him in the ocean, right? I mean, Austin will get rid of him. They're used to getting rid of bodies, right? For his boss. So, well, Austin was really used to being the one fixing them up. But anyway, they're going to go up to the house, watch. And then by the time they get their plan and they come back down to the stables, the lock's going to be broken off of there and Nicholas is going to be gone. Austin's going to take him. And I'll bet you Nicholas isn't dead. Okay, when they finally decide to bring Nicholas's character back to GH, whether it's a year or 8 years from now, because, you know, he was gone for, goodness, probably, what, 3 years before? 4? I don't know, right? Nobody's going to know. And then Austin was the one that took him to the different mob boss doctor and helped him. But guess what? Nicholas probably won't need a doctor. He's going to wake up from the head bash and Austin's going to feel like he has leverage. And Nicholas is going to offer them a lot of money. A lot of money. But anyway, let's see how they're going to write that. Let's see what the writers are going to do with the Nicholas storyline. I'm interested in that. But anyway, everybody, let's go to Comment Corner. Comment Corner. Let me make these comments larger. We have Susan. She says, so Nicholas died from a blow to the head. So we think. She just wanted to stop him. I feel for Laura. She will be brokenhearted to find out that her son, who she did not want to give up on, is no longer alive. I don't think it's going to come out that Nicholas is dead. I think it's going to be that Nicholas is missing. And Ava could say, I never saw him. He didn't come over here. I wonder if Austin will tell Ava that he believes his cousin Mason will be showing up to harm her. Maybe they, Ava and Austin, can make it look like Mason did it, and Nicholas was trying to fight him off, and successfully kill Mason in the process. Oh wow, that's eliminated 2 birds with 1 stone. Good plan, Susan. Good. You know, I love us some theories. We give the writer something to think about. That way, Laura will feel that her son died a hero. Okay. I kind of like these two together. I definitely like Austin and Ava together. They work, their chemistry is so much better. Well, Victor seems to be impressed with Spencer's plan for his sibling, and I like Anna and Felicia's plan to do haunting, including the deputy mayor gave her first dose today. Oh, that's right, I didn't talk about that. She goes and all distraught with Victor telling him, you assured me no one would get hurt. And now we've got Miss Cole and your son are dead. I'm out. And Victor let her know, you ain't out of nothing. You work for me, okay? And if you cross me, Oh, there are going to be some consequences indeed. So she leaves and she's frazzled and she gets in her car because she's realizing, yeah, now you played a whole part in murder. You framed Anna. Lucy's dead. Anna's dead. Valentine, yeah, it's you, right? So she's in her car. She's shaking. She's turning on her radio. And they already started with the haunting. It's Anna's voice saying, "You're next. You're next." That's funny. And she's, oh my God, shaky. So that's going to be hilarious to me. And it says, I feel like Anna Felicia. Okay, no, we already read that. Don't know how Felicia's gonna set that up. Well, we got a good first part, but kudos to her. Victor thinks that Anna and Valentine are dead, and Laura's just telling the deputy mayor about them dying in a flood in the catacombs in Paris. I saw her tell Victor that she wants out. That's right, she didn't sign up for this. I noticed that Spencer showed up at the private party at Portia and Curtis, but he just looked in. He didn't want to make a scene. And then Richard says, another great daily recap, lady. You definitely are on point with opinion of calling Sonny, letting him know how, calling Sonny, knowing how he feels about Nicholas and Victor. I know. I love your facial gestures. I'm just having fun. Can you tell? I'm just having a lot of fun. This Chemo Beauty. Hey, I haven't heard from you in a minute, this Chemo Beauty. I'm glad to see your comment. You are so right, GH Recap. You forgot daily recap and then lady on the end. I don't know why Ava was so afraid of Nicholas taking Avery. Do you remember what happened when Esme told Sonny that lie about Nick and Avery? Sonny came calling on Nicholas with his goons. I know. Period. The writers have successfully dismantled all of those couples with no chemistry, and they need to leave it that way. So breaking up Elizabeth and Finn and Brooklyn, stop testing Chase's feelings about you every time he says something with his mouth. You look desperate. No, Brooklyn looks like this. Brooklyn. YAA says Laura's enactment is absolutely ridiculous at this point. No, enablement. Sorry, her enablement. I know she's acting like Nicholas is too. Her guilt is so deep and it contributes to him acting so out of order, shaking my head. Lucy says, if anyone can get through to Spencer, it will be his grandmother. Not. She didn't even change a tiny bit of his mind. Krista. Some of this stuff is as ridiculous as oh no, we ain't talking about the Bold and the Beautiful. I've been peeking in on that. And every time I peek in on the Bold and the Beautiful, I know why I don't watch it. I know why. If anybody does, and you know Dollar Bill Spencer's character, that actor ought to feel disgusted every time he's going to work because they're making this man act like a zombie, like he doesn't even know how to speak anymore. Okay, but forget. I ain't even gonna talk. Spend no time with the Bold and the Beautiful. Sherry says, remember when Finn played John McBain? Now that was good writing. John McBain. I do remember him as a John McBain. That was on One Life to Live. Yeah, he was John McBain on One Life to Live. Rihanna says, Austin is related to the boss. Mason better tread softly with Ava. Finn, there is a sucker born every minute. You're just another distraction in a long list of men Elizabeth has used, chewed up, and spit out. Ava Jerome came back, bashed Nicholas in Mama Bear mode, and there's that. Brooklyn being selfish and sold out everyone and then lied to Chase again. Of course. Annette says, so Ava will hide Nick away, thinking he's dead. Liz and Brooke, two needy chicks, usually the mean, bad nutcase. Oh, Liz mean, bad nutcase are those kinds. Ava has two brothers. For Mama, which one of them would show up? Two brothers from Mama. I think Julian's dead. What other brother does Ava have? Annette says, I love Ava Mama on Ryan's Hope. Who remembers that nutcase? I remember Ryan's Hope. I liked Ryan's Hope. And oh yeah, subscribe and enjoy. Thank you. Subscribe. We are 2 subscribers away from 900. Remember, we're on a race to 1,000. Nancy says Ava's sister Olivia Jerome, and she played Tanya Walker. Ava Mara West and Roger Hayworth Austin have always had great chemistry when they played. Even when he played Franco. I don't remember him and Ava interacting as, yes, what am I thinking? Why did I say I don't remember her interacting as Franco? Yes, because she lied to him all those years, telling him Kiki was his daughter, and she wasn't his daughter. Oh my, that's right. They did have good chemistry, him and Ava, right? Thank you so much, Nancy. I forgot all about that. So I would be all for an Ava Austin pairing. Actually, I've been thinking that Olivia Jerome was who Austin and Mason were working for. But then when Mason was on the phone, he made a point to say Ava's last name. Oh, that's right. He did say that. But you know what? Olivia tried to kill Ava. So why would she care? Remember when she was out? She tried to kill her sister. If that's Olivia, he must not realize that. No, Olivia could care less, or he was talking to somebody else. I don't think he'd be talking to the boss as nonchalant as he was. He's probably talking to somebody else. And then my boss, Claudia Zakari, LOL, another great recap. Hope you all have a safe and blessed, wonderful weekend. Stay healthy and happy. God bless you. And Nancy also says, by the way, Nicholas could still be arrested for attempted murder as long as Esme can't remember anything. Yeah, that's true. After all, she went off the parapet once, which caused her hospitalization and memory loss this time. Unless the PCPD was smart enough to find out when the original video was made, they would know, but we all know the PCPD is not smart. Not at all. They're not smart at all. Oh, well, there's a first time for everything. And PE 5208 says, love you, Daily Recap Lady. Love you too, PE. Jane says, I think Tracy should make an appearance. I know it's very rare that they have Tracy come back. If Ned died, Tracy would come back, or Brooklyn, something like that. NK Rose says, I was waiting for Chase to drop his drink on the documents. I know. I thought Trace was going to flick Link with his drink. Dacia says, Sonny would mess up Nicholas because of his friendship. Wade wouldn't mess with, no, Sonny would definitely mess with Nicholas and make him disappear and still look at Laura and pretend he didn't know what happened. Especially if Nicholas is talking about taking his daughter. Yes, he would. Victor would get Spencer to be on his side. Michael says, we all should write for this show. Your Nicholas Ava scene was much better than reality. We should, right? That Brooklyn Chase storyline is totally stupid. I agree. Come on, writers, let's do better. Great recap. But you know, the bad thing is, by the time we're seeing it and I'm doing a recap, the writers wrote that 3 months ago, right? And I hopefully they see the recap and say, oh, shoot, did we mess that up like that? Gee. Ron says, I'll give Nicholas credit. he told the truth. Now, the truth. Now, Ava knows she messed up. Let's just hope she knocked him out and not get another repeat of. I know the Finn and Elizabeth get rid of the body, and I know. See, recycled, repeat. Don't recycle and don't repeat that. Just don't. And then Krista says he probably did, because they love to do the same thing. Sandy says Finn needs to run. I can't with Liz. Austin and Mason are getting on my I don't give a darn list. That's talking too long to this story. It's taking too long I know. We need to get more. The boss needs to just make a trip. It ain't like she's got to go far, right? I'm ready for a wedding. Not a wedding. Got my outfit and ready to go. Portia and Jordan should wear jeans and t-shirts and sneakers and no earrings. LOL. Are you talking about for a good old girl cat fight? That ain't gonna happen. And then me. Uh-oh. We got a nice long name there. Last comment of the day says Finn to Elizabeth, what are you going to do? Elizabeth to Finn, I'm going to turn myself in, Finn. I'm going to go turn myself in. Knowing you're going to say, no, don't turn yourself in, which is exactly what happened. So ridiculous. Well, that is it for Comment Corner. Comment Corner. Thanks for the comments. Look, hopefully by tomorrow we'll have those 2 extra subscribers and we will be at 900, everybody. 900. So tell your friends to check out this YouTube channel. Get them to go ahead and subscribe so we can get to 900, and then tell them don't unsubscribe. Because if you unsubscribe, it takes me back down. I'll be back tomorrow for another General Hospital daily recap.